You do not see the disaster at first. You smell it. It hangs in the air before you enter the city. Sweet. Rotten. It clings to your clothes and settles in your throat. You take another step forward, and the ground beneath your feet, wet, not from rain, from what the city has already discarded. This place is alive, loud, and quietly killing the people inside it. Nothing is burning. No armies are marching. No walls are falling. Life is continuing as normal. People open their shutters. They step into the street. They walk through. Waste they no longer notice. They breathe air that has been spoiled for so long it feels ordinary. Death does not arrive in a single moment here. It arrives slowly, patiently, one body at a time. A child drinks water that looks clear enough. A cook rinses his hands in a shallow gutter. A merchant wipes mutt from his boots and carries it straight into his home. Nobody panics. There is no reason to. This is how the city has always smelled. This is how it has always worked. The danger is not hidden. It is everywhere, and because it is everywhere, it feels harmless. That is how cities begin to fail, not with noise, not with fire, but with things everyone learns to live with. Paris believes it is winning. You see it in the streets. You hear it in the noise. You feel it in the constant movement of bodies, pressed together. This is not a dying city. This is a growing one. People arrive every day. Craftsmen set up workshops beneath wooden houses. Merchants crowd the markets. Students argue in Latin near the schools. Farmers leave their villages and step through the gates, convinced this is where life is heading. They are not wrong. Paris in the 13th century is one of the largest cities in Europe. It is rich in people, trade, and ambition. Stone churches rise above timber homes. Bells mark the hours. The Seine carries goods and money through the heart of the city. To the people living here, this feels permanent. The streets are narrow, but they are full. Houses lean toward each other, built upward instead of outward. Space is precious. Light is rare. Privacy does not exist. Everyone lives close enough to hear their neighbors cough at night, and that closeness feels like strength. Markets operate from dawn until dusk. Bakers fire their ovens. Butchers work in open air. Tanners scrape hides near the river. Blood, scraps, and waste fall where they land. Someone will step on it later, or it will wash away. That is the assumption. There is no sense of urgency. Why would there be? The city is functioning. Food arrives. Money changes hands. The churches are full. Life expectancy is short, but it always has been. People accept that as the price of being alive. Paris was not designed. It simply expanded. Each generation added more people, more buildings, more demand. But nothing underneath changed. Streets stayed the same width. Water still came from wells and the river. Waste still had only one destination, outside. Every household produces it. Every trade adds more. Animal dung from horses. Human waste from chamber pots. Rotten food from kitchens. Dead rats from cellars. All of it goes into the same space. The street. During the day, carts roll through it. Children play in it. Vendors stand beside it. At night, windows open and buckets are emptied. A warning shout is sometimes given, sometimes not. This is not seen as filth. It is seen as routine. Rain does not clean the city. Rain spreads it. The gutters overflow. The water turns dark and slow. It seeps into wells. It pools near foundations. It lingers. People trust what they have always trusted. They trust that bad smells are unpleasant, but harmless. They trust that illness comes from fate, or God, or imbalance in the body. They trust that survival depends on prayer and habit, not infrastructure. Paris feels crowded but alive, loud but stable. From the inside, nothing seems wrong. The city is at its peak, and it has no idea how fragile it is. The first cracks do not announce themselves. They settle in quietly, in places no one looks. The wells grow shallow, not dry, just different. The water tastes heavier, slightly bitter. People blame the bucket, or the rope, or nothing at all. The gutters stop flowing the way they used to. Too much waste. Too little slope. The channels clog and stay clogged. What once moved now sits. Animals change their behavior first. Rats multiply. They find food everywhere, scraps in the street, grain in storage, warmth beneath floors. No one connects this to danger. Rats have always been part of the city. Flies thicken in the summer. They land on meat, on hands, on faces. They move freely between waste and food. This is normal. Illness does not arrive as a shock. It arrives as repetition. Stomach pain, fever, weakness. Someone misses work. Someone else takes their place. A child dies, then another. The church bells ring. They always do. Doctors offer explanations that fit the world people know. Bad air, corrupted humors. God's will. They recommend prayers, herbs, bloodletting. None of it addresses the street beneath their feet. The city keeps growing anyway. More people means more waste, more animals, more demand on water that has nowhere to renew itself. The river carries refuse downstream, but it also feeds the city upstream. What leaves returns. There is no single moment where someone stands back and sees the whole picture. Each problem belongs to someone else. Waste is the household's issue. Streets belong to no one. Wells belong to whoever dug them. Illness belongs to the sick. Death belongs to God. Authority is fragmented. Responsibility is scattered. No one has the power or the reason to redesign the city itself. So nothing changes. People adapt instead. They learn which streets smell worse, which wells to avoid, which seasons bring sickness. Survival becomes a matter of local knowledge, not collective action. The danger grows because it feels manageable. There is no explosion, no invasion, no single disaster to react to. Just a city slowly saturating itself with its own byproducts, layer by layer, year after year. By the time people sense that something is wrong, it already feels permanent. And when the next sickness comes, the city will be ready for it. Not to stop it, but to spread it. The collapse does not arrive as a single event. It arrives as accumulation. One summer is warmer than the last. The river runs low. The gutters thicken. What once flowed now sits and steams under the sun. The smell becomes sharper, heavier. It no longer fades when you turn a corner. Then people start falling sick faster. Not everyone. Not all at once. Just enough to notice. A butcher closes his stall for a day. A baker's apprentice does not return. A household hangs cloth over its door. Someone inside is feverish. Someone else is already dead. The streets do not empty. They never do. People still need food, still need work, still need water. They walk past bodies wrapped in linen. They step around vomit. They avoid looking too closely. The illness moves without pattern. One house loses a child. The next loses a grandmother. A family across the street seems untouched. No one understands why. There is no warning sign, no visible enemy. The water looks the same, clear enough, cool enough, drawn from the same wells people have trusted for years. Buckets go down, buckets come up, hands dip in, cups are filled. That is how it spreads. A fever takes hold first, then cramps, then weakness so severe a person cannot stand. The body empties itself until there is nothing left. Some survive. Many do not. The dead are carried out quickly. Space inside the house is limited. The living cannot afford to stop. Burials accelerate. Graveyards fill. Pits are dug deeper. Bodies are stacked closer together. Soil runs out before the dead do. The bells ring constantly. Then less often. Not because people stop dying. Because the bell ringers do. Doctors are overwhelmed. not by numbers, by helplessness. They examine tongues, they check pulses. They bleed patients already weak. They prescribe herbs, they burn incense to fight corrupted air. They advise people to stay calm. Calm does not help. Families begin to fracture under pressure. The sick are isolated in rooms. Windows stay shut to block bad air. Waste is thrown into the street faster, not less. Nobody wants it inside. The streets become narrower. Not in width, in use. People stop lingering. They stop talking. They move quickly. Heads down, breath held. Everyone senses danger, but no one can name it. Children are hit hardest. Small bodies drink the same water as adults, but they cannot endure what follows. Death comes faster. Parents learn this lesson too late. Again and again, markets falter. Not from lack of food, but from lack of hands. Farmers hesitate to enter the city. Merchants delay shipments. Prices rise. The poor are pushed to the worst water, the worst streets, the worst odds. Rain comes. For a moment, people hope. Then the gutters overflow, lifts and spreads. It runs into cellars. It floods wells. It turns streets into channels of black water. Children splash through it. Shoes soak it up. Homes absorb it. After the rain, the sickness spikes. This is the moment when fear hardens. Not panic. Something quieter. People stop trusting each other. They stop sharing cups. They stop caring for neighbors. Compassion becomes dangerous. Distance becomes survival. Some flee the city. They carry the sickness with them. Others stay. They have nowhere to go. The city does not shut down. It grinds. Every function continues in reduced form. Fewer workers, more corpses. Less order, no coordination. No one announces disaster. There is no authority to declare it. This is not a siege. It is not fire. It is not war. It is the city consuming itself. The same streets that once made Paris powerful now concentrate death. The same density that fueled trade now accelerates decay. The same routines that kept life moving now keep sickness moving faster. People begin to understand something, but not fully. They sense that the problem is not a single disease, not a single season, not a single failure. It is the city itself, its shape, its habits, its refusal to change. By the time that thought forms, it is already too late to stop what is unfolding. Paris does not collapse outward, it sinks inward, slowly, under the weight of everything it has been carrying for generations. The sickness changes how people behave before it finishes changing their bodies. At first, fear is private. A door closes. A family stops answering knocks. Curtains stay drawn even at midday. Then fear becomes visible. Neighbors stop helping each other. Not out of cruelty, out of calculation. Touch becomes a risk. Presence becomes a gamble. The sick are left alone longer, not abandoned at once, but delayed. A bowl of water is placed outside the door instead of carried inside. Food is slid across the floor with a stick. Voices speak through walls. People watch for signs. Trembling, weakness. Anyone who shows them is avoided. Anyone who coughs too much is remembered. The city learns to identify danger by instinct, not reason. Parents make choices they never thought they would face. A child grows ill. The mother hesitates. Care might save the child, or it might kill her too. There is no guidance, no authority, only stories of what happened to others. Some families stay together and die together. Others split apart to improve their odds. Neither choice guarantees survival. Religion intensifies. Churches fill with people seeking explanation rather than cure. Candles burn day and night. Prayers multiply. Processions form. Ironically, closeness feels safer than isolation when the threat cannot be seen. When prayers fail, blame begins. Bad air is blamed first, then certain streets, then certain professions. Tanners, butchers, poor households near the river. Anyone already on the margins becomes suspicious. Cleanliness turns into morality. Those who fall ill are assumed to have lived wrongly. Those who survive believe it confirms their virtue. This belief protects the mind when the body has no protection. Doctors lose authority quietly. They do not disappear, but people stop expecting results. Advice becomes ritual. Bleeding is done because it has always been done. Incense is burned because it smells better than death. Care shifts from cure to avoidance. People change their routes through the city. They stop using familiar wells. They stop visiting friends. They memorize which streets feel safer. Even when they cannot explain why, time compresses. Days blur together. The bell tolls lose meaning. Death becomes background noise. Grief shortens. There is no space to linger on loss. When it is everywhere, children grow up faster. They learn which doors to avoid, which smells mean danger, which adults will not return. Work becomes transactional. You do your task. You leave. You do not stay to talk. This is how moral order thins. Not through chaos, through efficiency. Kindness becomes selective. Help is rationed. Empathy is measured against survival. The city does not descend into madness. It adapts. And that adaptation is what makes the damage so deep. By learning to live this way, people accept conditions that should never have been normal. They reshape their expectations downward. They adjust to loss instead of preventing it. The greatest collapse is not physical. It is psychological. A city that once believed it was permanent now lives day to day. A society that once trusted habit now trusts distance. A population that once relied on shared space now fears it. Even when the sickness slows, these changes remain. Because once people learn that closeness can kill, they never forget it. And Paris will carry that memory long after the bodies are buried. When the sickness loosens its grip, the city does not return to what it was. It exhales, but it does not heal. Some streets are quieter than before, not abandoned, just thinned. Doors stay shut longer in the mornings. Workshops reopen with fewer hands. A bench remains empty because the person who sat there every day never came back. The dead are gone, but their absence is everywhere. Families count who survived, not with relief, with disbelief. A household of 6 is now 3. A neighbor's home stands locked, its contents untouched, because no one is left to claim them. The streets look the same. That is what makes it unsettling. The same buildings, the same alleys, the same gutters, but people move differently through them, faster, more deliberately, as if the city itself cannot be trusted. Those who lived through the sickness adjust their lives around it. They boil water when they can. They avoid certain wells permanently. They refuse to live on particular streets. Knowledge spreads informally, passed from mouth to ear. This corner is bad. That pump is safer. This season is dangerous. None of it is written down. There is no official reckoning. Markets recover slowly. Prices stay high. Labor becomes scarce in places. Those who can demand more. Those who cannot take what they are given. Inequality sharpens. Survival favors the flexible. Children who lived through it grow up with a different sense of normal. Death is familiar to them. Silence in a house does not surprise them. They have learned how fragile daily life is without being taught why. The city absorbs the lesson without understanding it. There is still no sewage system, no organized waste removal, no central authority to redesign what exists. The routines that caused the sickness remain in place, altered only at the edges. People want to forget. They clean their homes. They repaint shutters. They reopen shops. They marry. They baptize children. Life pushes forward because it must. But memory lingers in small behaviors. People flinch at smells they once ignored. They hesitate before drinking. they keep more distance in crowds. These habits do not come from theory, they come from loss. The landscape of Paris carries scars you cannot see, grave pits beneath churchyards, empty houses absorbed into others, family lines that end without record. What has been lost will not return. What remains adapts. The city survives, not because it changed, but because people learned how to endure conditions that should have been impossible to accept. That endurance becomes the foundation for the future, and the danger waits quietly beneath it.
It truly
unchanged,
does.
ready
The
for the
master
next time
stonemason
the
did
balance
well.
tips the wrong way. What happened in Paris was not a mystery to later generations. It became a lesson, not learned all at once, not written into law immediately, but slowly through repetition and cost. Cities like Paris exposed a simple truth. Density without planning creates risk. Growth without systems turns everyday life into a threat. Waste is not just unpleasant, it is structural. Over time, authorities began to notice patterns. Sickness followed certain streets, certain wells, certain seasons. Mortality clustered where water and waste mixed. This observation mattered. It shifted thinking away from fate and toward environment. Not germs yet, not science as we know it, but cause and effect. If streets were wider, air moved. If waste was removed, sickness slowed. If water came from controlled sources, fewer people died. These ideas took centuries to turn into action. Paris eventually built sewers. Slowly, in pieces, regulations appeared, not because people suddenly cared more, but because the cost of not caring became too high. Urban governance changed. Responsibility moved upward. Sanitation became a public issue, not a private one. The idea that a city owed protection to its inhabitants began here. In failure, this did not eliminate disease, but it reduced its reach. The long-term consequence was not
we
cleanliness.
finally have clean
It was control.
water.
Cities learned that survival depended on invisible systems
It is very
beneath
fresh.
daily life, drained water flow, waste removal planning. These systems do not announce themselves. When they work, nothing happens. That is their success. Paris paid for this knowledge with generations of loss. Modern cities inherit the result, not the process. Clean water feels natural. Streets that drain feel normal. Illness that does not spread feels expected. None of it is accidental. It was built on the understanding that a city can poison itself without ever noticing, and that the absence of disaster often means the system is finally doing its job centuries later. It is easy to believe this story belongs to the past. The streets are cleaner now. The water is hidden behind walls and pipes. Waste disappears the moment you let go of it. You do not smell the danger anymore. That is the point. Paris did not rot because its people were careless or cruel. It rotted because its systems never kept pace with its success. Growth felt like proof of health. Crowds felt like strength. Routine felt safe. The city was not destroyed by an enemy. It was weakened by what everyone accepted as normal. That pattern does not vanish with time. It only changes shape. Whenever cities grow faster than the systems beneath them, the same risk returns, quietly, patiently, without warning. Collapse does not always announce itself. Sometimes it waits for people to get used to it, and then it lets them live inside it.